Hey everyone, welcome back to your week ahead astrology breakdown. I'm Matthew Oliver with Stillwater Alchemy, and I had a couple cute stories about Mercury retrograde that I want to share because there are a lot of people online that are precious and that are talking about things like a Mercury retrograde with one way of foresight. However, if you've been tuning into my content, you know I like to believe, affirm, live my life that everything is always working out in our favor at all times. So these stories are aligned with that, with Mercury retrograde benefiting us. So, number one, my earpods or AirPods from Apple. I just like heard this static throughout the week. I'm like, Mercury, I hear you. So I went to Apple literally earlier today and they ran them through a diagnostic test and found that they were flawed and they replaced them completely for free. They're like, oh, here's a brand new pair. They're under this kind of warranty. And this is like a good PSA for anyone who has the AirPods, the second generation, because apparently after they were released, there was some kind of defect. So they were all under kind of warranty that people had technical issues. Like it was hearing a static and that wasn't like muted or warped sound. So if you still have a pair, go to Apple, check it out. You could get a brand new pair. Number one. Number two, when I first moved to Vancouver, there was this really beautiful piece of artwork that was the moon. And it was like really cool the way it was like almost coming out of the painting. When I first saw it, I was like, I believe that's probably going to go on sale, so I'll leave it there. I also have the firm belief, whether it's like art, an opportunity, a lover, it doesn't matter. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. Like you can't lose it. So there was a sale going on, and I went today, and that artwork was 50% off. And then the guy was like, oh, I'll give you another 10. I'm like, oh, blessings. His name is Frank, and he is a Taurus, which we love. And then lastly, I had to go to ICBC to get my like driver's license and healthcare switched over from Ontario to BC. It's like the DMV of Canada. And one of my favorite mantras is angels always cross my path at all times, or only angels cross my path, or angels are always around me. Use some derivative if it aligns to you as well. And it was packed because there's people taking their driver's tests, there are people that are moving, there's all the things. And there was a man in front of me at the reception. He's like, I've been waiting 20 minutes. I had an appointment. What's going on? The woman said, oh, we're short staffed. There are 2 people sick. And I was like, oh, there we go. But in my head, I was like, it's fine. Everything will work out. And I had an appointment. And I've also had appointments in like medical clinics where I've waited an hour with an appointment for a specialist. Like it is what it is outside of a retrograde. And literally, I waited 20 minutes after my appointment time, got checked in. And the woman was like, oh, do you have this piece of information? Do you have this report? Do you have that? I'm like, no. And I literally went on the website and looked at everything I needed to be ready for this appointment. And apparently these things that I needed weren't there. I was like, oh, Mercury. However, the woman was super nice. She's a Capricorn. Also, sidebar, Capricorn women are just superlative, top tier. Capricorn men can depend. But the point of that story is everything went seamless. And it's also like the perception too of what waiting is. And I think that even just to turn it around on Mercury retrograde, if you have this belief that there's going to be these massive delays and you're going to have to go through so much, of course, that's going to be your external reality. Or if you believe that you can get better deals, Mercury linked with commerce, if something does break down, like with my AirPods, that there's a better resolution or that you'll get something better in return anyway. And then third of all, that people are genuinely wanting to help you. So if you do have to wait, then the person that's going to assist you is going to be fantastic, right? And also with these stories, it was like a picture of the moon. So we have art and the moon, Taurus energy, very much so. And then the AirPods, hearing, sensory, music, Taurus. And then like getting something secure for me to have like proper health and residency can also be linked to Taurus energy. So sometimes like the universe is like, it's so obvious. And I share these stories again. So as you're tracking these transits or looking at retrogrades, because we're going to have a Venus retrograde in a few months. So that way there's no anxiety. You're like, great, all of these retrogrades, all of these transits always work in my favor. All right. So this upcoming week, literally, it's a climax to the Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse. The days leading up to the eclipse, which is on Friday, are basically just setting the stage, getting everything in order for that eclipse. I will say right now, before we hop into the transits, if you have a lot of fixed energy in your chart, so Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo, but specifically for my Scorpio angels, sun, rising, moon, or if you have a lot of planets in Scorpio, please book in some extra healthcare, whether it's physio, massage, acupuncture, Reiki, therapy, whatever that may be. Or if you can, half day on Friday, personal day on Friday, if you can just take time for yourself, because during a normal Scorpio moon transit, sans new moon, full moon eclipse, it can be very intense. It can be very emotional. It can be very raw and visceral. Never mind a full moon in Scorpio, a full moon lunar eclipse, a full moon lunar eclipse conjunct the south node, a full moon lunar eclipse conjunct the south node opposing Uranus. So we're going to get to all that. And I will be releasing a workshop for free on my YouTube page. My intention is by the end of day on Wednesday. But I just wanted to give that preface, like, please, please, please take it easy over the weekend, especially like Friday, Saturday. Things immediately pick up Sunday, but it is just a lot of energy coming together. So I want to give that heads up so that we know what we're moving into throughout the week. So let's hop in to the week ahead. So we're starting Monday, May 1st, brand new month, fresh slate. We love this specifically because the moon in Virgo is still making that trine to Uranus. It's a wide separating trine to Mercury, but still there. And then we also have a sextile to Mars, a square to Venus. So there's a lot going on. And then lest we forget that opposition to Neptune. So how can we use this to our advantage? I like to think that with this moon in Virgo opposing Neptune, it's like, what are the rules? What is right? Why are we following certain stories or structures? Do they still make sense? And the moon is gaining light until we get to that eclipse. And since it's a lunar eclipse on Friday, the moon's light is going to be swallowed, stolen, blocked per se. However, since we are still gaining energy, we're in this eclipse season, this is the time to ask yourself, what are you putting energy into? What are you creating? What are you doing to make your life either streamlined or easier? And this can be physically at work, in the physical world, even in terms of your day-to-day. This could be emotionally with who you connect to, the content you take in. This can be spiritually, your practices. If there's something that needs to change, that's likely going to be coming in on Monday, especially still with this trine to Uranus. You might have even felt that change and shift over the weekend. And then we do have that square to Venus. So it could be a lot. It could be overwhelming. What's not going to help you is watching the news, scrolling on social media mindlessly. If you can ground in and set a to-do list at the start of Monday morning, you're going to be in great shape. This can also be a situation too where people around you are trying to connect to you and maybe emotionally dump or not have any boundaries. That can definitely be an aspect of Neptune, that it dissolves all boundaries. What is a boundary? What is time? What is space? What I'm doing personally is putting my phone on airplane mode on Monday. I don't have any clients on Monday. I'm not working on Monday personally, so I'm going to take it very easy so that I don't get distracted by the external noise. So whatever you can do to ground, to protect your energy is going to be highly recommended. All right. Once we move to Tuesday, the moon moves into Libra. This is quite nice because contingent that you kind of ask yourself some questions of what am I feeding into? What am I building? What am I believing on Monday or even over the weekend? Now the moon in Libra is making that trine to Pluto, which is great. So with this trine to Pluto, there can be this energy of revelation or truth or clarity. And what's nice is that Venus is in an air sign, right? In Gemini. And so with the moon in Libra, there's going to probably be this aspect of putting in time and energy into what you love. And especially with Mercury retrograde in the background, how can we reframe certain things, or how can we prioritize different things to make our lives easier, better, more beautiful, loving? And I forgot to mention this, so let's go back. And this is a nice I love how we just literally talked about Mercury retrograde for like 5 minutes. And then I'm like, oh, we need to go back and talk about Mercury retrograde specifically because on Monday, which adds to the theme of protecting your energy and blocking things out so you can focus and tune into the downloads, is because the sun and Mercury are going to be conjunct at 11 degrees for most of Monday. So we have the sun, Mercury, kazimi. So this can be a day where if there have been delays for you, if you have been feeling the effects of Mercury retrograde in a certain type of way, Monday is a thing where things can be very clear, very fast. So if you need to send correspondence, if you need to get a hold of certain people, if you want to write down intentions or see how quickly your words can manifest, Monday is a phenomenal day to do so. Monday is just a great day with the moon in Virgo of getting a lot of things done. But remember, if you allow yourself to get distracted or take on other people's energies, you might fall back into old patterns, or you might go procrastinate, or there might be certain things that feel harder to move through. So just know Monday is a very energetically charged day, but there's a lot of gold to be harvested if you put your mind in the right space. Now, going back to Tuesday, with the moon in Libra, trine Pluto, clarity, truth, power. Are you, and this is a great question to even ask, it's like, are you balanced? Are you balanced with work and rest, masculine, feminine, free time versus time where you feel like you have to be productive? Or even asking yourself the question of where in my life do I need more balance, so we can start receiving some clarity and some answers with this moon Pluto trine. All right. When we go to Wednesday, there's a little bit of a spike of energy just because the moon is making that square to Mars. There's a little bit of mutual reception given that the moon is in its home sign in Cancer. So with the moon squaring Mars, with the moon making that applied opposition to Jupiter, and then making that applied square to Venus, it might just be a lot, period. There might be a lot going on in your life. There might be a lot of things coming up, either for evaluation, many blessings, things you want to do. There might be a lot of ideas crossing your plate at that time. So how do you wish to use this to your benefit? This could be one of those things as well where working productively for an hour feels like you're getting a whole day's worth of work done. This can also mean where, and this is manifested a couple times with this moon Jupiter opposition, and also given that Jupiter is going to be moving into Taurus in about 2 weeks, this is the last Libra moon opposing Jupiter and Aries transit that we're going to get for another 12 years, because that's how long it'll take Jupiter to come back into Aries. So it'll be interesting to see. I've had a lot of people comment on this transit specifically, is that they feel like they've had to prioritize what's best for them versus what's best for their family or for their relationship or for their job. I'm happy that Venus is here in Gemini as the moon is making that opposition to Jupiter this time, because through your words, through communication, it'll likely be that you can have your cake and eat it too, right? If we're talking about reframing our mind, recreating new structures, why can't you have the best of both worlds? Why can't you have it all? Why can't you have everyone be happy for your continual expansion? And that's kind of a vibe I would like you to tune into if it feels good for you, is that there might not need to be a this or a that. It can be both. And how can I use my words to reach a positive resolve, especially since we're very close to this full moon lunar eclipse happening? It's like that something big is approaching. And I mean big in the sense of big for you relative to where you're at in your journey. And if you want to get a little bit more specific, you can look to the houses in which Libra and Aries rule in your chart, and that'll probably give you an idea of where this culmination of energy, or where you can have the best of both worlds, occur. All right. Now, Thursday. So now it's about to come. Okay, so the moon is in Libra. However, it's going to be moving into Scorpio very soon. So when the moon is in Scorpio, especially because once it crosses over later on Thursday, depending on your time zone, it's basically right there, hitting that south node, and then it's getting ready for the eclipse. So this is where things are likely to come to the surface, whether it's a fear, whether it's a doubt, whether it's past energy that you've been dealing with these nodes in Taurus and Scorpio since mid-January of 2022. So there could be a lot coming up for revision, a lot coming up in terms of Are you ready for the next level? Are you scared that blank is going to happen? Is there a fear? Is there something that you want to release completely? So this could be a death and rebirth phase in a certain part of your life. This could be intense emotions or the scorpionic energy of secrets, doubts, lies, betrayal. And this is going back to what we've been kind of talking about a little bit throughout this entire video, is these narratives, these stories, these structures that we tell ourselves again and again and again. So to use this in a benefic way, you can decide that that fear, that wound, that betrayal, that hurt is gone. It's in the past. It doesn't affect you anymore because it's no longer here. And this present moment isn't real. So what are you wanting to cultivate moving forward? And that can be what's going to come after this eclipse. But I should note as well, like Wednesday and then moving into Thursday as well, the moon is making that tight trine to Venus. So that's a really nice aspect for the moon to be blessed by both benefics, having that opposition to Jupiter and a trine to Venus. So especially if you have a lot of air in your chart, so Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, Wednesday, Thursday are likely to be very, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday even, are likely to be very strong days for you. So take advantage of that, please. And then moving into Friday fully, this is when we have the eclipse. So I'll be talking more about this in the workshop, like I said, but I just want you to take it easy. The thing is here is that, which a lot of astrologers are likely to bring up, which they should, is that the moon is making that applied opposition to Uranus, and Uranus is unexpected change, surprise. So a lot of times you can't even prepare for it. So there's no point in really getting anxious. It's more so, how do you wish to respond? How are you going to react to something that you can't control? And that can be challenging for fixed signs because they like to have control. And even if you don't have any planets in the fixed signs, those fixed signs of Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo are still ruling certain parts of your chart. So there's probably certain areas of your life that you like control and structure and knowing what to expect, or the predictability of those parts of your life. And so when we have eclipses in fixed signs, it really is sometimes we have to, whether we like it or not, be pushed out of our comfort zone, quite literally, like shoved. There's this one really cute meme. It's like a cartoon. It's like a girl with another girl in a wheelchair. It's just like, and not to be morose, but it's like sometimes like you literally, there's no choice. The universe has to push you, or else you wouldn't change. You wouldn't want to feel uncomfortable. So if you're going to go through something on Friday, whether it's with your emotions, with your body, with your health, with a feminine energy in your life, and you feel a certain type of way, if you feel really intense, hurt, betrayed, attacked, or even there could be the positive energy of this, it's like, oh, this obstacle has been removed, or something has happened that now lets me see what is truly going on. So I want you to pay attention. Also, we can see, especially after the eclipse goes exact, which is approximately 1:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon will be making that applied trine to Neptune and to Mars. And also we have strong mutual reception here between the moon and Mars, given that Mars is the ruling planet of Scorpio and the moon is the ruling planet of Cancer. So what this means, this is something I was looking at as well, is like, great, we do have this moon Uranus opposition, which can be volatile, intense. Also, like, take care of your health. So I was talking to this for all Scorpio dominant people, but this is just for everyone. Like, let's say you're feeling tired, burnt out. Don't push yourself this week, especially not near the weekend. Like, if you need to take time, and it doesn't, sometimes I think we feel like if we're needing more rest, even though we're not doing a lot, that's considered lazy, not being productive. Please don't have that thought. Even right now, it's 4:44 here in Vancouver. If you need the rest, take it. This can even be like if you're going to the gym, maybe doing something more relaxed, maybe prioritizing yoga, maybe taking it a little bit easy this week is the answer, so that we can slow down to receive the truth, the knowledge, the downloads. And there's likely something that'll come through during this eclipse where you know exactly what needs to be done, where you want to put forth energy effort, passion, determination, or where something needs to be severed. And you're going to feel really good about that. Like how this is manifested for me when I let go of an opportunity or relationship that's no longer aligned. And once I send that email or once it's done, like the conversation is complete, it's like I feel this energy being lifted. It's like, you know, when you drop your bags after being in transit for such a long time, it's like that's the energy I feel in my body. And of course, for me personally, sometimes there is that anxiety or fear of, is this the right decision? Should I be letting go of this opportunity, this job, this position, this relationship, whatever it is? But as soon as I decide yes, and once that is confirmed, at least for me, it's instant. I can feel levity in my body. And that's what I think this could hold as well. So even if it does take you to the point of feeling very anxious or nervous or stressed or causing all your emotions to go all over the place, there's likely to be a very firm resolve of, yes, I know I did the right thing. So just something to look forward to. And then once we move into Saturday, the moon will still be in Scorpio, but it's leaving that opposition to Uranus, which is nice. And then it falls into the loving hands of Neptune. So this could be like sleepy kitty vibes where you're just knocked out. Friday night will probably bring pretty intense dreams. This could also be where the veils are very thin, where the downloads or the answers are right there, which is why I also would recommend making sure that you're taking time for yourself throughout the week, but especially Friday, Saturday, because I guarantee you, if you can connect in with your body, your emotions, your intuition, if you can be near water, whether that's in your shower, bath, river, lake, ocean, that is also recommended. And then Sunday, we end off on a really good note, given that the moon is in Sagittarius. It is still a little bit of ways away from that trine to Jupiter. However, that is going to be a complete shift energetic wise of being where the moon was in Scorpio, facing that intense eclipse energy, to now being in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is in a fellow flyer sign. So go out, have some fun, do something that you enjoy on Sunday. And there might even be such a quick shift in what you know that you need to do. And what's nice is Venus will move into Cancer later on Sunday on May 7th. So the moon won't even have to face an opposition to Venus, because by the time the moon gets further along in Sagittarius, Venus is already in Cancer. So it's like such a beautiful energy of Sunday. So enjoy Sunday, take time for yourself, plan something fun, be with your loved ones, or just spending time by yourself. It's a great way to end off this week. All right. Boom. So with the astrology question of the week, I've gotten this in a couple different ways where I think sometimes people are confused when I say, look at your natal chart to see which houses are ruled by the fixed signs or by Libra and Aries, like we were talking about this week, and what that means. Because I understand that you can use many different house systems. Most apps and websites put Placidus as the default. You can go and change the settings and use whole sign as one way of seeing, out of all 12 houses, each of the 12 signs is going to rule one of those houses, as a way to look at your natal chart and see, okay, let's say you are a Taurus rising. That means that Aries would rule your 12th whole sign house, and Libra would rule your 6th whole sign house. So in the example like we shared, and we can just go back to this in the chart so I can show everyone. Specifically on Wednesday, when we have that moon square Mars, moon opposing Jupiter, and then moon making that applied trine to Venus. If we're looking at these houses, even in this as an example chart with a Cancer rising, the moon is in the 4th whole sign house, and then Jupiter is in the 10th whole sign house, right? Because you're going to look at the sign that marks the cusp of that house. And so if we want to use this exact same sample chart to look at the fixed signs, so we can see here that Leo rules the 2nd house, Scorpio rules the 5th house, Aquarius rules the 8th house, and Taurus rules the 11th. So if this were, let's say, your natal chart, and you were to say, okay, so Leo rules the 2nd, that's personal finances and resources. Scorpio ruling the 5th, that's going to do with pleasure, creativity, children. The 8th, other people's money and resources. And then the 11th is the house of hopes and dreams. So if we were going to look at this as an example chart and know that the eclipse is going to happen in the 5th house, we could say that what we deem pleasurable, or if the topic of children is coming up in your life, or maybe in this example, it could be that a child got accepted to go study in a different state or a different country to do their university or college degree, then that might mean the parent is going to be going through an emotional experience either way, knowing that a child is going to be leaving the nest, and not only leaving the nest, but going somewhere completely out of range from their home. And so for the child, if we're talking about this 4th, 10th house leading up to that eclipse, it'd be like, great, beautiful blessings, lots coming in for the child. But if it's the parent, that could be a lot to take on. And even if we're looking at from the child perspective, now they have this beautiful opportunity, but then getting all the logistics of what that's going to look like to move to a different state or country to pursue secondary education. So I hope that this is making sense. I just kind of wanted to reiterate this because I get this question a lot in terms of people being confused what to look for when I'll say, look to your house and see which house is ruled by the fixed signs. And that way you can start to gain a better understanding of your own chart and then to get excited for certain transits. So for example, Venus will be moving into Cancer later on Sunday of this week. So with that, that's going to be amazing, especially for those that have prominent water energy or just simply looking at the house in your chart ruled by Cancer. There's going to be significant blessings coming there. And it's nice too, because Neptune is still in Pisces and Saturn is in Pisces. So there's going to be this level of commitment or structure with regards to love that is going to be coming in for the next 3.5 weeks or so, with Venus being in Cancer. And then Jupiter is about to move into Taurus mid-May. So knowing blessings are coming in different parts of your chart can help you get excited. And how I usually find this for clients is intuitively, they already know that a certain part of their life is going to be activated, or that something big is about to come through in a certain area. And then I'll look at their chart and I'll say, you're exactly right. Your intuition was pointing out this Jupiter ingress or this North Node activation or whatever it is in their chart. So at the end of the day, humans, our souls are so intuitive. We know so much, but there's a lot of noise out there that can easily distract us. Astrology is a beautiful blueprint. I love astrology. You all know I could talk about it all day long, but at the end of the day, your intuition connecting to that higher source, that frequency, your higher self, will always lead you in the right direction anyway. Even my stories of like the artwork, intuitively, I knew, I was like, I'm not going to buy this now. I'm just going to come back at the end of the month. It's going to be on sale. And then it was on sale. Like the more and more you trust your intuition, the more you lean on it, the sharper it gets, the more clear it gets. And then the astrology is a beautiful supplement that affirms what you're doing. And then also leaves room for free will and beautiful blessings to come up in different ways that make at least my job as an astrologer more exciting. It's like, oh, I never maybe contemplated that that manifestation of that planet could happen in that sign or in that house. So to recap, this week, of course, the primary focus is that full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. If you have a lot of fixed energy, but specifically if you have a lot of Scorpio energy in your chart, please, please, please take it easy. Schedule self-care maintenance for yourself, especially on Friday and Saturday. That's going to be the time where this major activation is taking place. And then also as an additional offering, I'm going to be having a lunar eclipse Zoom gathering on Saturday. So I'll post the link for that in the description of this video if you want to tune in and connect. And then I'll also have a lunar eclipse workshop for free available on this YouTube channel. And like I said, my intention is to have that up and ready by the end of day on Wednesday so that you have some time to partake before the eclipse happens. All right. Wishing you all the best for this week ahead. Have a beautiful lunar eclipse, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.